I'm just setting things up. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Hey, I'm just setting up things here. So, okay, that's interesting. Okay, cool. How's it going? Just kind of waiting for some people to come in. How's your day been so far? Hey, hello. What's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, Dorothy. My voice is a bit harsh. That's fine. Everything's good. Hey, what's up, TV? What's up, Sky Blue? Nice, Ghostly Ninja. Nice, Fatty. Cool. Well, the Holy Rogue is it's a detailed name. If I give it away, I feel like, I have to trademark it first. Hey, TV, that's sweet. Thanks, man. It's kind of weird. Like, oh, okay, that's all good. Yep. Yeah, kind of like when I get in my 50s, now that I'm 50, the metabolism is definitely different. I don't give a fuck though. I really don't. I've got an amazing wife. I don't want anybody else, and I'm being taken care of, in a very good way, in a loving way. So I really can't ask for more. I'm pretty happy with that. So if I'm fat, chubby, my wife loves me just the same. It's hey, so I thought I'd just do some weird shit. I'm gonna do some drawing. Some of it's gonna be stupid, and some of it's gonna be funny. Some of it's gonna be just like abstract. I don't know what the hell it is, and I think it's gonna be fun to share. So I also was thinking tonight, like I was gonna talk about some philosophical weird shit. Hopefully, I can do both at the same time. But to be honest, if sometimes my drawings or my doodlings are hard to do at the same time as thinking deep. Pretty kind of funny, but true. I do have ADHD. Hey, Dorothy, yeah. Love helps, but yeah, I mean, if you can reach a healthy age 90, which is that you, Dorothy? Are you 90? How old are you? Okay. Man, imagine that though, reaching 90. I can't imagine that, honestly. Though my father is, yeah, okay. 103. Dude, that's nuts. One moment. All right, cool. I just had to get rid of that dude. So, yeah, I can't imagine 103. Kidding me? Wow. Talk about witnessing a lot of things. All right, so I think I'm going to get started. I'm going to set up my camera, and it's my first time doing this. There's a couple people, that I care about here in the community who do the same thing, and it definitely inspired me to do it as well. And I'm so happy that I've got the next couple days off. Yep, I just got home from work. I could chill. I can do some drawing with my friends. All right, hold on. All right, how's that? Is that all right? Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So I really don't know what I'm gonna draw. I think I'm gonna more just like doodle and come up with some weird thing. Um, I'll start with some basic pen. Trust me, like I am not telling you I'm good at art when it comes to illustration. But hey, who knows, right? I haven't experimented or played with this in quite a while. Talking a long time. So, kind of in a new mature spirit of ways, I'm going to try just doing some abstract improv art illustrations. Let's see what the hell happens. It's quiet, but you know, this is pretty therapeutic for me. And I'm kind of learning to, it's okay to keep things simple, especially within your own limits that you're aware of. Like my simple is different than your simple, maybe, you know, in detail, I'm sure. But it's okay to keep things simple because simple is a comfortable way of control, right? When it's simple, you're like, oh, okay, I know I can control this and successfully without much attention. I mean, that's one way of saying simple. And I find myself having to try to apply simple because of the way my brain is. Like I'm always creating in my head. Like I'm always thinking of something imaginary or something fun dealing with imagination. And, or, whatever deep talk I want to hear, be it from our ex-Scientology community or anti-Scientology community. And I'll listen to you, and I'll listen to some other things. I used to listen to a lot of conspiracy stuff. All the basics, man, like I think it's worth looking at if you have the ability to filter through it. It's easy to misunderstand a schizophrenic because they could theoretically, misinterpret something, and that misinterpretation can lead to, whatever pitfall or whatever obstacle. Um, Let me see here. Make sure I'm over here. All right. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to play music, but I don't have any music, so it's quite all right. I just have talk. I'm just checking something out. 1 second. Okay, cool. All right. There's a lot of conspiracies that have some validity to it. And it's the way I perceive it is that it's sincerely pretty dark, that people just don't want to see it. I mean, at this point, compared to like the year 2000, at this point, people are very aware of some of these conspiracies, of government lying to us. The government lying to us. Some of us act like, it's an obvious thing that the government would lie to us about things. But when presented a conspiracy dealing with such a topic, it can be negated. Like, no, that's no such thing. Yet, deep down, people know. I think deep down people know. And some of them don't want to believe such evil. They would rather just be in their own belief of a good America and a righteous America, a Christian America in their own Christian way, in any way they decorate it. And it's just true, those days are over. And we're looking at some major change. I mean, that's pretty obvious. That's really fucking obvious that we're going through some major change right now. And that change scares some people. And it makes people serious. I don't know anybody who's like pretending or thinking that the future is not changing, like things are not changing right now in an extreme way. Even high schoolers know, middle schoolers. But they don't see it as close as us Gen Xers do, or even the parents of Gen Xers. We lived through the Old West, which was the 80s, before internet. Can you imagine that? The kids today can't. The kids today, they don't know what that means before internet. Like, that's old-fashioned, man. That was like hearing, like as a kid in the 70s or in the 80s, I don't know if that'd be like me hearing when I was young, like from my grandfather. We didn't have a TV. And we were there for the first color TV. And we're like, wow, what's life like without a TV? I mean, it's not a perfect example, but this new generation does not know what it feels like. They are literally ingrained into this new system of AI and technological advancement and technological control. It's pretty cool to think about because when two people see the same thing going on, it just makes it that much I don't know, much more comforting. Now I will tell you this, and I can't tell you if I believe it or not. Sincerely, I can't. As in, like, I don't know. But some of us, not including me, and I have no problem of anybody believing this, but some people believe that we're in the end times of the scriptures because of some signs. And I'm going to be honest, like, I think it's still vague, like it's always been. Every time someone says, oh, the end times, I personally never fell for that. I really never have. However, there are some fucked up signs that are making people today in our societies, especially those who are Christians, you know, different flavors of Christians, but you know what I'm trying to say, and they're all kind of in one basket. And they literally think these are the end days and the end is coming. Like, it's pretty wild. And there's reasons for it. Stuff that's going on today that actually back up what their points are. One example is in scripture. I can't quote it, you know, I'm not going to go like that. And I'm not doing like a Bible lesson or something. But it's just on the topic of what's going on today in society. There's a lot of Christians who are thinking we are in the end times. A lot. But there's probably more who think we're not. And those who think we are, one of them is the mark of the beast. And that's the biggest one of them all, in my opinion. I think we have all heard about the mark of the beast. I don't have to talk about it. I don't know if you guys want me to talk about it. Say, you know, if you want me to talk about it, say something. Let's see here. Well, the mark of the beast, in my theoretical opinion, and if you know me, my mind can change. I can see viewpoints a little too easy sometimes. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. All right, so let me see something here. Okay. So, in my theoretical opinion, if we were to talk about if we are in the end times, and I like to just to talk about this stuff. I don't necessarily have to believe it. I love to talk about it. It's fascinating to me, just really fun. Like I've always loved post-apocalyptic movies. Mad Max as a child was like my favorite. I remember me and my buddies, we made up our own role-playing game of Mad Max. It was like the best. I loved it. I was probably like 11 or something, 12. And anyway, I love just to talk about it. It is a fun subject because of the belief behind it. You know, I've been doing a lot of thinking about belief, and it always fucks with me. Belief always fucks with me. It's part of my condition. I can say that with confidence, but I don't like to. It's relieving to say that my condition contributes to my constant cycles of what is truth, what is existence, what are the mysteries, and just that I don't know. I don't know where I was going. Belief, though. Belief is pretty hardcore. Pretty hardcore. You can take the belief that you have right now. I shouldn't even say you. You know, let's use somebody else. You can take the belief of Jorge, and Jorge loves his deity, loves the entities that go along with his deity, and love the gifts that he perceives he gets from the deity. His faith and his strength in that and his observation of that may or may not be stronger than the other guy who believes in some completely different philosophy. And he's getting the same results and he's getting the same thing. You know, it's one of those things, belief. And it's a pretty fun topic, again, to talk about. I love talking about deep shit. Even if it's like going to be offensive, you know, like, oh, is this like hard territory? It's cool with me, man. Like, I can talk civilly. I love that stuff, man. I love it. So, yeah, if you guys ever want to have a chat and talk about something, give me an email. theholyrogue@gmail.com, and just tell me what you want to talk about. We can have a cool conversation. You know? Okay, Dorothy, thank you. I'm sorry I just saw this. I guess nobody here else, cares to talk, but that's okay. So, because of this act of my brain, and I'm kind of talking kind of dry, kind of dry about it, is that is that despite not wanting it to, it will still arrive. That cycle. And I call it a cycle because I've seen it before several times. Certain subjects. My wife can vouch for me. you know, and I'll be blind to these changes sometimes. Or later I'll catch myself in it. And now I'm at the educated point, I guess a mature point. I'm saying like, um, of saying, hey, I recognize that, and I'm willing to accept it. And one of the biggest things that helps to accept it is the internet. You know, the internet allowed um, kind of fucked up right here. I'll try to fix it. So anyway, I don't want to talk about end times anymore. I'm not interested right now. But yeah, if you guys want to talk about something, put it up on the chat, and you know, chat about it. Or otherwise, I'm just gonna keep on rambling. Okay, this is pretty funky looking, right? Let's see how this is. Interesting. Okay, it's really wild. I could see like different animals and shit. And like I could see a person and a cat, and that's wild. I'm gonna keep on going. Um, it's kind of shitty to be plagued with always questioning what is like life, what's the spiritual. No, there is no spiritual. Yes, of course there is. No, there isn't. Or those things that you've witnessed were just delusions. And it's hard to swallow, but it very well could be true. I don't have a problem admitting that. Um, but here's the funny thing, right? Is like I actually do believe in the spiritual. But it's like you have to ask yourself, like it's either spiritual or not. There's no like in between, right? Like, oh, I'm half spiritual. Like, sure, like if you were a superhero, you'd be like a person who can phase out into a ghost. But anyway, my point is, it's either one or the other. And if you go with spiritual, it's probably based on a real reason. I'm sure you have it based on something. Experience, perhaps. Perhaps your own personal experience. Something you witnessed convinced you that spirituality exists. I'm just giving a scenario. I know that some believe that spirituality exists based on strictly faith. Like, yes, I feel confident in knowing that, I'm just saying this as a scenario. Someone saying, like, I feel confident in knowing that their spiritual hierarchy will take care of me. It's pretty interesting. Or reincarnation, people believe that, But nonetheless, it's spiritual. I've had spiritual experiences. And some I just can't deny. I wouldn't say a lot, but I have had a few that were like, you know, one in particular, I could say two. Kind of funny, I actually could say three. Like, there's three that were pretty spiritual. I don't really need to talk about it right now, but I'm sure you have your own, or maybe you don't have any. I don't think it's really a matter of having them or not having them. Because does it really just come down to what the person believes? Like, he's coloring his own mind. We're coloring our own minds all the time. Hey, Holly, it's good to see you. I'm just rambling. doing some art. This looks pretty funky, you know. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I kind of like it. And so, um, so maybe that's what we're doing. Oh, thanks, Manga Kid. That's cool. Oh, Chilty, that's awesome. I'm so glad you're here. You know, you inspire me to do this. You know, let's check it out. It looks funny. It looks like I see all these kind of like characters in it. Yeah, that's awesome. Uh, okay, so now let me try something here. Oh, for sure, Mega Kid. Yeah. Hey, after this video, you could really remind me if you just put a comment after the video's over, the live stream, and I'll remember your name and I can look it up. That would help. Cool, man. Yeah, this is my first time doing this, and you know, it's fun. It's really fun, especially doing it with friends. You know, it's nice. So let me see. And I'm just rambling some weird shit. That's who I am. I'm a weird fucker. And that's who I am. I've been doing a lot of soul searching. I'm always doing soul searching. Always. And I get satisfied. And I'm still soul searching. And then something else comes up. Some other concept. And I have to. I always look. It's just the way I'm built. It's very strange, in a way. Oh, I'm no hey, what's up, Hardline? Hey, I'm no pro at all, dude. This is just me for the first time doing shit, and I'm just doing some like waves. And while talking, it kind of helps, you know. And I'm so happy that tomorrow's my day off. I can just fucking chill. I'm so happy. Chill with my friends. I like to chill with my wife, of course. But, you know, I gotta do this sometimes. Gotta hang with my buddies. So, yeah, it's like you got the spiritual aspect of life. Again, if you choose that side of spiritual, to me, it's very, very black and white. You either look at life, well, not even look at life. Like, if you think about it and you had to answer, does a spiritual side of life exist? Or is it just your mind? Is it just your imagination? Is it just your brain? And is it just this intense physical reality? And I'll be honest, like, it could be that. Hey, Mango Kid, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. My videos are pretty boring, but hey, I appreciate you subbing. I shouldn't say that, you know what? I'm just myself, and if you relate to me, that's cool, you know? I like the boring channels too. I like the ones who are just humble. So, if the spiritual side exists, it opens up a whole fucking door. into a schizophrenic, never mind other conditions, but I can speak through experience as a schizophrenic. And mine doesn't even seem that bad. Like, there's people who have it really bad. No, I take the medications for it. I take an antipsychotic for it. And things are in control. But, like, I have had my episodes. And when you're in them, you don't know you're in them. It's really fucked up. Like, I'm so glad they're behind me now. And one day I will talk about those. That'd be fun to talk about. Now that it's over, you know, I have to get my wife's permission to even talk about it, I feel, in respect for her, because I put her through hell. Like, dude, I put my wife through hell. And it was very sad. But, quite honest, that's over with and done with, and that just made us stronger, which is the truth. But yeah, one day we'll talk about it. So let's see here. And then you have the actual aspect of what if it's all just imagination, which could be the way it really is. The reason I say that is because I'm willing to look, I'm willing to consider that idea, and I don't have to believe it. We can consider things. I think that's where advertisement gets us with our brains. It makes us consider. And then when we start considering, we start thinking about it, whatever. But just be careful when you consider things. Consider it and be honest and have fun with it. But just keep it on the table, like, look at it from a distance. Don't get yourself sucked up into it until you've really checked it out. One moment. Gonna get my vape. So what I've got here for my vape, excuse me. For those who've never considered it, like, deeply, it's fun. Because you well, I shouldn't say it can be fun. I can understand that it doesn't really mean shit to people. Like, some people are like, who cares, to be honest? Like, we could be on a rock that is flying through space. We could be on a fucking triangle Earth. I'm joking about that. We could be on in our virtual reality. All these things, right? But it doesn't take away the science that we see in front of us. And then what I mean by that is we still have molecules, we still have atoms, we still have, um, you know, all that shit that we can read and manipulate now. But one of the counters to that is that's just the DNA of the creation. We now have the means to examine it. That's all. We couldn't do it before, but now we can. Like, that's the blueprint. Like, in the Matrix where... Hey, Danielle, how are you? I just noticed. The older I get, the more I'm convinced we live in a simulation. Yeah. It's almost like that's where we're headed, because we can now conceive with realism how a simulation could actually work. And I think that's the first time we've done that, like the first age of mankind, where not just in the sci-fi sense, but we can actually calculate how it can be done. And though we can't do it yet, so we think. Did they ever take there was a, hey, thanks, Danielle. I'm just doodling, and I appreciate your comment. And I appreciate you talking. That's cool. That's what I'm here for. I'm just here to chat about weird shit and do some doodling. But yeah, it's tough for me as a schizophrenic. It's tough for me. Because you can see these fucking things. You can, like, not see them as far as a delusion, but yeah, Danielle, yeah. It could be. It could be. As I'm talking about, like, we're discovering our origins. Like, we're discovering the fact that, oh, we're in simulation. Oh. And then, coming to that point and then getting ourselves out of it. I don't know. One of my other hobbies, I love gaming. I love my Xbox. It's my medicine. It gets me into my, out of my manic sometimes. And yeah, there's other stuff too. But I don't want to talk about my hobbies. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound rude. Yeah, DID, and I was looking into that just the other day because I thought I had multiple personality disorder. I always think it's a cycle I go through. I'm schizoaffective. I'm schizoaffective bipolar type. I'm also ADHD. And I think other things too, but whatever. I'm a very introverted, can be. I live in my mind, dude. My world, very introverted. So, I know they changed the name from multiple personality disorder to DID, which is dissociative disorder. I don't know what the I is for. But disassociation is a big one for me, dude. I don't have social anxiety when it comes to, like, what you think it might be. if I'm at like a family gathering, this happens all the fucking time. And I actually don't like it, but it happens. I'll be at the table for 10 minutes and I'll be like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, I'll be like, I'm just uncomfortable, and I have to leave. I go to my room or something. And my family knows this. My family, understands me. But, yeah, yeah. Um, it is a social anxiety, but it's not like, oh, I don't want to go to the mall, or oh, I can't be around crowds. I can. And I can have a good conversation with a stranger. But when it comes to like, okay, now it's going to go deeper, this friendship, oh, they invited you to his house and they're going to have dinner. That means you have to invite them to your house at some point. So that means you have to clean up your fucking house even better and worry about that. Like, I do have social anxieties, just in specific areas. Yeah. And it might have to do with my age too. I just turned 50. Here's you guys are, how many times were you involved in romantic? Why are you asking me this? I'm not going to answer that, bro. Sorry. Um, Here's an interesting fact, right? Is that I didn't find out about my condition until I was like 45, 46 years old. Oh, you see a dragon. That's awesome. Yeah, I kind of see it too. That's so cool. So I um hey, it's kind of funny though. Oh, hey Daniel. So I was in my early 30s when diagnosed with BPD and DID. I knew those things were there. So in diagnosed, it wasn't so, oh, yep, that's good. I studied a lot. Like, I knew I had something going on, and my wife knew it. And she pointed it out, and I was like, I finally admitted it. And I was like, dude, you're right. I need to get checked. And I just like studied the fuck out of things. And I thought I had autism. But then through more study and with my psychiatrist, it was understood that it's schizophrenia. And they're very related. They're very, very related. Autism and schizophrenia were once considered the same thing. It wasn't until later on that they got delineated. So Michelle, I just realized something. Um, I acted kind of defensive when you asked me how many times we were in a romantic relationship. You know what though? That's a valid question because I always struggled with that. Always. I don't know why either. Like, I'm not here to like, you know, I feel embarrassed saying it, but I was an attractive guy, especially in like middle school, high school, even 20s, 30s. But I was oblivious, dude. Hey, Danielle, I'm just gonna see what happens. I think he might be interested. I just don't know. So I'm just gonna go with the flow and see if Fashal is being sincere. But they're real good questions, to be honest with you, because they're direct questions, and they help me evaluate. And if I don't want to answer, I won't. So, I was married twice, and I really only had two real relationships, and those were that. I was always shy from relationships. I always was like, how come I can't get a girlfriend? And, I had so many opportunities when I look back. But then I was like oblivious. It's like I couldn't see the signs, or I don't know. Something triggered and I like avoided it. I just don't know. One of those interesting things that I could look at one day when I get counseling. I'd love to dig at that. There's details I'm not going to talk about, but it's interesting stuff. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. Yeah, it always bothered me, like, why the fuck was I always single? But like, now that I'm 50, and evaluating my life, because dude, even though I found out like 5 years ago, I, even though I found out like 5 years ago, I'm still always thinking about my condition and the truth of it compared to all the bullshit I learned in the cult. If you guys don't know, I'm an ex-Scientologist, and I'm part of a community here where people are anti-Scientology. And, I'm a victim of it. And I learned all this bullshit about the mind. And I had to take it so seriously. And unlearning it doesn't seem so hard. Fortunately. And but re-educating myself on what is true, that has been adventurous. To say that I have an accurate diagnosis is very relieving for me. Hey, that's cool, Danielle. I appreciate it. Because I was so excited, it wasn't that difficult. I was really into it. I was manic about it. Like, I really thought I had autism because my stepson has autism. And when he moved into the house, living with him, I was like, my God. No, I have no degree in art. My only degree is my imagination. Yeah, I felt a huge sense of relief. And, long story short, I got the accurate one. I studied the hell out of it. I really understand it. And because I understand it, I think a lot about it. And like being involved with myself, being interested in myself is fantastic to know. Like, it's not always easy to be interested in yourself. So when you know what you have, and you know what your brain permits you to create and permits you to experience, where a neurotypical cannot or would find it very difficult to. And I find that to be a blessing. I find that to be really amazing. I'm not going to answer what I do for a living. It's just personal, that's all. But I will tell you this, it's nothing extraordinary, It's important to do your due diligence, proper research, and to understand what it is you're going through. Yeah. Yep. And so, that just reminded me of, DID. And I researched it last week, maybe 5 days ago. And I realized, because I looked at it pretty, under a magnifying glass, like really looked at the condition and realized that I do not have it. I say that only because I looked at, you have to have 2 of 5 factors to be diagnosed with it. And I looked at those 5 factors. And though some are close, it's funny though. When I read about it, I talked about childhood trauma. I think I might, but I don't know. Oh, it's all good. So it's one of those things I have to get with a person who's been through trauma counseling and a counselor herself, and just help get a grasp of what trauma is. Because I think I have trauma that has been completely ignored. And I would love to look at that again with a safe and gentle eye. That would be nice. Yeah, exactly. Major. Can it be one incident? Or does it have to be something that's been going on for years? I mean, it sounds like it could be either. But I honestly don't know. Because I did have a trauma as a child, a severe one. At least I think so. But then part of me says, well, don't we all, don't we all go through some kind of childhood trauma? But no, I can't say that. I can't say that. Because that's just me brushing it away. Toughening it out. And, toughening it out is important for survival, but not when we have not so much now that we have the resources and the people and the community we potentially have and can have now. now these days, compared to decades ago, 90s, even 2000s. Well, it's wild. Oh, I'm just gonna read. Sorry. So a few years ago, you began having flashbacks of childhood trauma. I didn't remember. It was wow. Holy shit. No, that's gotta be intense, bro. Really, like to see things you didn't even know were there as memories. Hey, Vishal, I really like 90s alternative music. That's me in my teenage years and in my 20s. Always a good time to listen to that. And I still think it has like really good instrumental talent. You know, like Nine Inch Nails and Nirvana and Stone Temple Pilots and um, all those guys. And then, of course, I am diverse. I do like techno. I like the deep trance techno. Um, I like um, I don't know, those kind of things. Yeah, there's got to be one out there. You know, there's got to be. There's got to be one, and I haven't even looked yet. I haven't even looked yet, and my time will come. You know, I like so Danielle, what the conclusion of that, my realization that I didn't have DID and looking into it, it helped me reassure what I do have because I will tend to doubt at times what I have. And that's a condition, that's part of it. And there's a name for it, I just don't remember what the name is. When like you're like, oh, I'm fine, I don't have shit. I don't need medication, you know. And then trouble. I've only done that a couple times, never recently. I've learned my lesson. I take my medications happily. I don't have a problem with them. Oh, hell yeah, some harder stuff for sure. I remember Gwar. That's funny. That's really funny. Of course, classic Metallica. You know, pre Black Album. Black was a decent album. I'm not gonna say it wasn't, but you know they turned radio friendly, and that's just what happened. But yeah, Metallica early was great. Um, Def Leppard, of course. You know, as a kid, you know, I'm like I said, I'm 50, so in the 80s, man, I had it all. Like I was G.I. Joe, all that music, MTV, and so great. Oh, that's wild. It's really wild. Yeah, mankind right now, like we've advanced so much just in 20 years, 30 years, say 40 years. 40 years is still relatively a short time. And look what we can fucking do now as a species. Like, it's insane. Like, what the fuck is next? Like, deep fake is so accurate that you should really question what you see on TV. I can talk politics and stuff, but it's not really my, you know, I don't find fun in it so much, but I can talk about politics. But one of them was one thing I found of value was during the Obama time, and I don't think Obama is responsible for this. I do think there is a shadow government. I don't care what people say. Like, there's people who are pulling the strings, obviously. And we're heading towards a world system, not destruction. They've got to destroy in order to build. So in order to get the AI system for all of us, they have to create some kind of chaos. And then they'll come in as the saviors, you know, some form or fashion. That's one theory. It's a common theory. I was kind of rambling there, but anyway. So Obama, under his administration, allowed or reinstated the ability to perform, I don't know how to phrase it, perform propaganda on its own members, on its own citizens. Come in. And yeah, so this was a law too, that this was something that was denied years ago, like I think in the 50s or something, or earlier. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. And it was brought back into action. So deep fake is legally able to be done by our own government to us. Like, they have the legit ability to do it. And when I look at all that, I just think a lot of these things are orchestrated. Like, I just see everything being planned. I know that can be unpopular, but that's how I see it. And whether that's true or not, those are just one of those things that will always bug me in my mind. It's one of those things that bug a lot of people. And what they do is they get their belief. they form a belief and they find others who believe just like them or similar, and you have it. A group is formed. You know, beliefs don't just have to be religious or like, you know, yeah, dungeon programming. Oh man, how long have I been going for now? I don't even see the time on this. Let me look. Whoops. Oh shit. Going on for an hour and 20 minutes. That's cool. Let's see. Okay. It's 1:30. I probably should be wrapping it up. So, I could check out my art. Try to get a better view of this thing. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Oh, come on. Stop it. Okay, here it is. That is funky. That is funky. I like it. I did not expect to do this today. Yes. Thank you, everyone, and thanks for listening. And I will see you again soon. All right. Peace out.